Hello everybody, BeMetalways here. Welcome to another weekly heavy metal album review. This week I'm reviewing KRISIUN Mortem Solis, released by Century Media Records on July 29th, 2022. Now, KRISIUN is a Brazilian death metal band founded by the brothers Alex Camargo on bass vocals, Moises Kolesny on guitars and Max Kolesny on the drums. This was back in 1990. The band is heavily influenced by the debut albums of Sodom, Creator, Morbid Angel, and Slayer. They released the debut album Black Force Domain in 1995, followed by Apocalyptic Revelation in 1998. KRISIUN then signed with a major label, namely Century Media Records, in 1999, releasing then 9 studio albums with them. So this makes Mortem Solis their 12th studio album and 10th with Century Media. Now let's talk about the album. Mortem Solis, which means Death of the Sun in Latin, features 10 tracks and runs for 41 minutes. The songs are relatively short, hovering around the 4-minute mark, and straightforward, brutal death metal. The one exception is the 1.5-minute instrumental Down Sun Carnage, which serves as an intro to Temple of the Abattoir. This sequence is the most progressive moment on the album. The intro is clearly influenced by Brazilian rhythms and music, and the song itself features a 1-minute build-up starting from clean guitars and slow tempo. Then we dive into their fast tempo and heavy patterns that we hear throughout the album. But still, the song features several instrumental passages and harmonies while delivering some cool grooves. This is an album highlight for me. In contrast, most of the album is much more direct, brutal death metal. For example, the album opens with Sworn Enemies, which brings a very modern metal vibe with it, but at its heart, it's certainly still a death metal song. It is one of the shortest songs on the album with 3 minutes and 45 seconds. Serpent Messiah was the album's first single, and that was an excellent choice. It's a brutal song, but featuring also good grooves and bass guitar harmonies that work very well. Swords into Flesh, released as the second single and video, follows the same frame of reference as the previous songs that I mentioned. One curiosity, maybe it's just me, but the intro riff sounds like Gamma Ray's Land of the Free, which has nothing to do with death metal, so it's kind of like Land of the Free on steroids. We also get a nice song with War Blood Hammer, another single as well, and it's a voracious, fast tempo song. It's even difficult to follow the lyrics in the lyric video. It fits very well because the lyrics is about destruction and all this kind of brutality. But KRISIUN was also able to insert some dynamics into Mortem Solis and avoid monotony. Another example is Necronomical, with a slower tempo and a lot of groove. Now, if I'm being picky here, if you are looking for a straightforward death metal album, there isn't much to complain. But the only problem to me is exactly that. There is nothing new or really pushing the sound forward. So despite the small risks and variability I mentioned, it wasn't enough, and KRISIUN mostly played very safe on their strengths. By the time you get to tracks 9 and 10, we are quite overloaded with similar songs, tempos, and riffs. That's really the only problem with the album. So what does that lead us? Well, KRISIUN has been delivering consistent and straightforward death metal for over 30 years now. With their 12th studio album, they show no signs of slowing down. Quite the opposite, the album is pure high-tempo, brutal death metal from start to finish, with small hints of progressiveness here and there, a little bit of modern metal, and a little bit of groove. Is that enough to make it a memorable album? not really, but it's high quality, enough good songwriting, a good production and execution to be quite fun death metal and to be considered still a good album, 81 out of 100. So enjoy the brutality. Thanks for being here, for listening, and BeMetalways.